Breathwork can completely change your life, and I'm going to show you how. Breathwork as a meditation has been shown to get you into a more meditative state a lot quicker than actual meditating, and I would even argue years. I just haven't been that type of person who's been able to sit down and actually meditate. Most of the times my thoughts either drift off or I actually fall asleep. Over the past year, I've been dealing with some certain anxieties that I hate defining with anxieties, but I've been dealing with them. And the only thing that has really helped has been breath work. And I'm talking like tremendously. It hasn't been my cure-all, but it has helped at least 80 to 90%. I started with Wim Hof. I love Wim Hof. I love doing the ice baths. I love doing the cold showers. This year I started with the breath work. And what I love about it so much is it's backed up by science and it doesn't take very long to do. It's only about like a 3-minute video. After doing this for a little bit, I started progressing to more hippie avenues, which I'll get into. Breathwork is so good for anxiety because it accesses your parasympathetic nervous system and brings you down to a more relaxed state. Now, originally this was thought to be impossible, and this has helped me in so many different areas, but particularly when I'm trying to sleep. Lately, I have been dealing with a term that I've just learned is rumination. At like 2 a.m., I'll wake up in an absolute panic state of loop, 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 loop. After doing my Wim Hof, I do a 20-minute version. It's so weird. My mind is just completely clear. Feels like I'm in an empty room with nothing around me. Some other areas that I found that breathwork has helped to an incredible amount is breaking down traumas from my past. Now, when I said before more hippier avenues, I would probably say that Wim Hof has been great, but you can go a lot deeper than Wim Hof. I follow this channel, which I'll mention a little bit later on, and they go into things like emotional inner child meditations and self-acceptance breathwork meditations. And these things can go upwards of an hour. There's no way I would have been able to do that with actual meditation. But this has really helped me break these things down from my past. A lot of things that I didn't realize I was holding on to. The most notable experience I had was my inner child one just recently, where I did my 45 minutes of breath work and then I met the 12-year-old me from my past and I apologized for everything for everything I've put him through and the mistakes that I've made, and my God, I bawled my eyes out. Another thing to note is I am so noticeably less stressed. And I'm not talking about like a placebo. Like I didn't kind of look around for this. I just noticed after a good month that things that used to upset me don't really upset me anymore. I still do get stressed, don't get me wrong, especially when there's a really bad driver or I'm ruminating about something. Now, if you want to get started with breathwork, there's a few things I want to mention. Number one, first and foremost, if you breathe incorrectly with this breathwork, if you don't just let the air out, if you like try and squeeze the air out, which everyone seems to do at first, including me, there's a chance you can pass out. When you breathe, you're meant to just let it go. Like, not something what everyone does, again, including myself, like this. Number two, breathwork can cause some really unusual sensations if you're not prepared for it. A few ones to mention would be tingling of the body. Your whole body can tingle while you're going into different states of consciousness when it comes to breathing. Another one is really weird thoughts while you're breathing. Strange. And just a bit of dizziness. Sometimes when you come out of breathwork, the dizziness and the tingling can take maybe a few minutes to actually pass, but they will. This still sometimes scares me. I mean, I've done this most days over the past year, and occasionally I can get thrown off guard by the weird thoughts or the tingling. Breathwork definitely has its immediate effects when it comes to being less stressed, but I found that once I started implementing it into my routine is when I found most of the effects would start accumulating. And I tell you what, especially for anxiety, it has been just an absolute game changer when it comes to that. And if you are experiencing a lot of anxiety and rumination and intrusive thoughts, definitely give this a shot, 100%. 100%. I would start off slow. Don't just jump into an hour-long breathwork session. I would start off with the Wim Hof method, get a feel for it. It's not very long. I think it's about three and a half minute long sessions. If you're really enjoying breathwork and you've been doing it for a little bit, there's some other ones that you can try out. Now, the people that I have been trying, when I say more hippie, has been Othership on YouTube, and this is not obviously a paid promotion, but I actually kind of found them a little bit too hippie at first. But the longer I did their stuff, like the first one I did was the nervous system reset, was amazing. I would highly recommend starting off with that one after the Wim Hof. They do have an app and it's paid. I don't really particularly know if I want to pay $80 a year right now, but there's definitely some free ones that they have on their website or on YouTube that I recommend. Breathwork has been one of the best things I've discovered this year. And I mean that wholeheartedly. I thought I would never be so into this, but definitely try it out if you are feeling anxious, if you're feeling stressed in life, or overwhelmed by anything. Or if you find that meditation just hasn't worked for you in the past, because it most certainly hasn't for me. On that note, my name is Jake. Thank you for joining me on Overcoming Within, and I will catch you next time. Bye.